Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Many women want a man who makes them look good. Now, y'all need to really pay attention to what I'm saying. And this is I think this is the first time in, almost 20 years I shared this one insight. Now, a few other people know this insight. A few other people know it, most notably Cousin T-Tall. But here's the thing. Many women are competitive. They're competitive. Yes, they want attention, but they're also competitive. You know, women like a man who's a challenge. See, they got their own, a lot of guys thinking of women just doing whatever, but they want that man who makes them look good because they got the man. You know? Shoot, even Malcolm X talked about this in the autobiography of Malcolm X when he talked about how he got with Betty. He thought he was running everything, and then once they got married, once they were in the reception, her girlfriends were like, "You got him." In fact, that's some game I learned indirectly from my grandmother. She was talking about some stuff like one of our neighbors was getting married. And, she was like, she even said to me, we might need you to go over there and make sure he shows up and make sure she gets him. I was like, yeah, understand something. A man, to really draw the attention of women, she got to feel like she's getting something out of it. Very, very, very few women are going to get with a man and he doesn't make her look good by being with them. You know, like a woman might, there's a lot of times a woman might meet a guy that she actually finds attractive, right? She actually finds attractive. And they get along, personality is great, but she might not deal with him publicly. At best, in her mind, he might be like that booty call or something, at best. And indeed, a lot of times she might just friend zone him. Because remember, and I've talked about this in a video a long time ago, and I'll see if I can link that video. You got to pull all her friends. I forgot the title. I've done several thousand videos. But to impress her, you got to impress her friends. Because that's one of the things many women will do. They want that guy, at least the public guy, to look good to their friends. Now, yeah, of course, they got the shadow world stuff, which is part of the reason it exists anyway, because that guy might not be acceptable to friends, but they getting with him, anyway on the low, and he got to be real quiet about it, but that's a different thing. I'm talking about, overall the surface, what you're seeing out here, and they got to feel like you're bringing something, and indeed, even when they get with you on the low, they got to feel like they're getting something out of it. See, here's the thing. When I say make them look good, here's an example, because I'm, known for talking about and pointing out the reality that in general, women want to look better than the men they get with. But I've also, while saying that, also say when you see the exceptions, like the woman doesn't look as good as the man, but she still got him. That's still trying for. He's a trophy to her. That's why you'll get some average looking or even homely women who happen to have money, and they'll get that real attractive guy because that's a competition. They can say, "Hey, I got him. Yeah, I might not look that good, but I got this money and I got him." And they'll parade him around. Women will do that, especially some average to below average looking women, but they might have money or something. They sponsoring him. You get some women like that who will get that boy toy and they parading him around because it's about the competition. See, understand something. Within women, they compete. Because understand something. When on the basic level, what do women do? They want to draw a man to them to procreate. That's the primal thing, right? They want to draw the best man to them to procreate. They understand something. The best men are going to be seen as best to other women as well. So they got that competitive nature. That's why if you go, look, pay attention if you have a group of women, how they dressed. Pay attention how they dress. Because often, and women will say this, they ain't always dressing for men. Shoot, I've been corrected on that. I would say, yeah, y'all dressing trying to get us. They say, nah, Ron, we dressing for each other. And it ain't that they checking out each other, they competing with each other. That's why women can, they can, you know, we compliment another man or something, you know, people be like, you know, you gotta be saying pause, no homo or some shit. They just do it regularly. And they not doing it out of some like lesbianism or something. They doing it because they respecting the game. And trust me, because they always competing with each other. That's why I said in general, women don't want a guy that looks better, because they'll compete with a guy who looks better than them, or they think look better. If they ain't trying to win him as a trophy, they competing with him. Women always, like with each other, they want to be the best looking women in a room. They want to stand out. That's why you get a lot of women who get married, and a lot of times their bridesmaids don't look better than they do. You know, like I knew this one woman that got married, and a friend of mine was supposedly one of her best friends, but she looked better. The friend looked better than the bride. So the bride's like, man, how come she didn't have you as one of her bridesmaids? And then when I saw the woman's husband checking out the other woman, I was like, oh, okay. But they competing like that, right? So they want to get that man who makes them look good in some way. Now, sometimes it could be that physically attractive man. Sometimes it could be that masters of the universe type of man. Understand that masters of the universe, like that's when that status comes in. Like you get some women, that's all they deal with are those superstars, you know? That's who they deal with. Like Cousin T-Taw talked about that. Cousin T-Taw, I'll link that video in there. I'll give y'all a link to that video. You know, that's why you get some of these superstar women. They will just they ain't gonna get some ordinary guy who probably treat them, do everything, might even have a little bit of money. A whole lot of them, they just gonna get another superstar. There's a lot of competition. See, understand something, and see, that's why the men at the top, the women are coming for them. If you really that's how you know you at the top. If the women trying to get at you, they know you got a woman, but they trying to win you over. They trying to get you. See, once you understand that, you know, that's just their nature, you can turn that on its head. But in order to do that, you got to have something about you that makes women want to compete for you. They want to get with you. Like you got a lot of guys talking about they don't want an average guy. Well, you're right, they don't. What's the competition there? In fact, sometimes if you making it too easy for the woman, like guys coming with their wallets out, she didn't have to compete with you. You gotta let most women, you got most of them. No, really all of them. If you really want a good woman, she gotta think she had to do something to get you. Let me say that again. She has to think she'd do something. Sometimes you make it too easy for them. They act funny. They act funny. That's why sometimes you can get a situation where you meet a woman, you're trying to holler at her and everything, she'll give you any play. But then she see you with another woman, boom. I remember when I was at American University, I'll never forget this, right? And I wasn't even trying to go for this particular woman, but she was very attractive, like definitely in that 8 to 10 range. Definitely in that 8 to 10 range, right? And me and her were just cool though. But then I remember we in the weight room at American, and another young lady who was very attractive, equally attractive, they both in the same range. I saw her. Now I wasn't trying to get with her either because one of my boys was dealing with her. There's a story behind that. That's one I got to share on Patreon. But anyway. So anyway, I saw her and then, you know, we were cool. I went over there and said hi. She was on the thing. The other woman came over and said, oh, hey, how you doing? Was rubbing her breast all on me, like showing that to the woman. I was like, okay. Because she didn't know what was up, but it's like that competition thing. So it's like you got to be that type of man that they want to compete for. You got to be that type of man they feel like make them look good. Like women just as much on that trophy thing. And like I said, there's very, very few exceptions. And usually with the exceptions to that is usually the woman settling more. But she got to feel like she getting something for you. That's what they want. And yes, women are settle and everything, but if you say the majority of women, they want that guy's going to make them look good in some way for merely being with them. Because they announcing to the world, I got him. In fact, if you think about a wedding, That's an announcement to the world. I got him. And that's just in their psychology. So anyway, check out the videos I link in here, and always understand that if you really want that woman, you need to really build yourself up, and then they'll compete for you. That's the highest level. So anyway, that's all I have for right now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.